In the ancient kingdom of Alinder, a land surrounded by silver rivers and emerald mountains, where scholars, warriors, and poets shaped the destiny of generations, there lived a young calligrapher named Liran, whose greatest struggle was not skill or talent, but the quiet voice of doubt that lived inside him, constantly whispering that he was not good enough, not strong enough, and not worthy of greatness. Though he crafted beautiful manuscripts for the royal library, his hands would tremble whenever he was asked to inscribe something important, for he believed others were far more capable, and so he hid behind small tasks, avoiding opportunities that could reveal his fear or test his courage, until one day the kingdom prepared for the Festival of Wisdom, a grand event held once every 10 years, where the greatest piece of writing, poetry, philosophy, or scripture was chosen to be preserved in the Hall of Eternity, a sacred chamber where only the most powerful words were kept for future generations to learn from. The king announced that this year's theme was inner strength, and every writer, scholar, and calligrapher was encouraged to submit their finest piece, yet Liran felt frozen, convinced that he had nothing worthy to share, and afraid that his work would be mocked by the highly respected elders whose wisdom shaped Elender's culture. That evening, overwhelmed by discouragement, Liran wandered into the forgotten archives, a dim underground chamber rarely visited by anyone except dust and silence. As he walked under the glow of torchlight, he discovered an ancient scroll sealed with a symbol he had never seen: two wings rising from a single flame. Curious, he opened it and found the teachings of Uriel the Unshaken, a legendary sage whose confidence had once inspired an entire generation to rebuild Elinder after the Great Collapse. The scroll began with a simple line: "The world believes in you when you believe in yourself first," followed by a list of affirmations Uriel used every morning to strengthen his spirit, expand his courage, and build unbreakable confidence. These affirmations flowed like poetry. My voice carries value. My actions shape destiny. I rise above fear. I honor my worth. I walk with purpose. I trust my strength. Am enough as I am, becoming more each day. Liran felt something shift inside him, by a spark of warmth, as if the words were gently lifting the weight from his heart. Determined to change, he copied the affirmations carefully and repeated them aloud, though his voice trembled as if speaking to an unseen audience. The next morning, he stood facing the rising sun and read the affirmations again, this time louder, feeling them settle within him like seeds waiting to bloom. And so began a new ritual. Each dawn he recited the lines, letting them steady his heartbeat and sharpen his mind. Each night he repeated them again, cleansing his thoughts of doubt and fear before sleep. Days passed, and Liran noticed subtle changes. His hands shook less, his breathing grew calmer, and his mind stopped spiraling into fear whenever he touched a brush. His confidence strengthened not in a sudden burst, but through small, steady shifts, like a river carving stone through patience and persistence. Encouraged by this transformation, Liran decided to create a manuscript inspired by Uriel's teachings, hoping to share the wisdom that had awakened his inner strength. But just as he began, the kingdom was struck by news. The royal calligrapher, Master Rowan, had fallen ill and would not be able to inscribe the ceremonial message for the Festival of Wisdom, a message that had to be perfect, for it would be read before thousands and then preserved for eternity. Panic spread among the scholars, for no one felt confident enough to replace Rowan, and the king announced that anyone capable should step forward. Old Liran would have hidden in the shadows, letting the opportunity pass like wind across water. But the new Liran, strengthened by countless affirmations, breathed deeply and whispered, "My voice carries value. I rise above fear." With steady steps, he approached the scholars and volunteered. Many were surprised, for he had always been quiet and hesitant, but they agreed to give him the chance. Liran stood before the grand parchment, dipped his brush into ink, and repeated his affirmations once more. Then, with calm hands and unwavering focus, he began to write. Each stroke felt like an act of courage. Each line felt like a declaration of self-belief. When he finished, the hall erupted in admiration, for the writing was not only technically flawless, but filled with a quiet strength that radiated across the room. During the Festival of Wisdom, the king personally selected Liran's piece as the greatest submission of the decade, praising its power, elegance, and emotional depth. Liran's manuscript was placed inside the Hall of Eternity, and for the first time in his life, he felt the truth he had been speaking each day, not as hopeful words, but as living reality. He was enough, he was capable, and he had always possessed the strength he once doubted. As years passed, students across Elinder repeated the same daily affirmations, strengthening their confidence just as Liran had, and the kingdom flourished with individuals who walked boldly, spoke truthfully, and lived with purpose. So the story of Liran teaches us this timeless lesson. Confidence is not a gift reserved for a chosen few, but a power built through intentional words, spoken daily, believed gradually, and embodied consistently. If you seek to strengthen your confidence, begin today. Speak to yourself with kindness. Affirm your worth. Challenge your fears. Celebrate your growth. And remember that every great transformation begins with the belief that you are capable of becoming more. Your voice matters, your dreams matter, and your inner strength is waiting to rise. Stay confident, stay committed, and let your affirmations guide you toward the life you deserve. And if you enjoyed this story and want more powerful mindset lessons, ancient wisdom tales, and motivational guidance, make sure to subscribe so you never miss the next uplifting journey.